Welcome to Community Corner, a segment where we answer frequently asked questions from our developer community. My name is Rett Behrens. I'm a developer evangelist with the Xero API team, and today we're going to be talking about the various limits you might encounter when developing an integration to Xero. Our first question comes from Tom, who's looking for some clarification on the OAuth2 uncertified app connection limit. So all new applications created in the Xero Developer portal are by default limited to 25 connections. And this means one user can connect up to 25 Xero organizations, or 25 users can connect to one Xero organization, or any combination in between. If you're developing an integration to Xero and approaching this limit, please reach out to api@xero.com and we can support you from there. On a related note, each Xero organization can connect to a maximum of 2 uncertified apps. The most common scenario where this is encountered as an issue in development is if a developer has created separate Xero apps for development, staging, and production environments. A solution for this is to create additional Xero user accounts. Xero user accounts are free and never expire, and each Xero user account will have a unique demo company organization that can connect up to 2 uncertified apps. So, for example, if you created 3 separate Xero accounts for your separate dev, staging, and prod Xero apps, each user account would only have taken up one of their 2 available uncertified apps. Up next, let's talk about API rate limits. There are limits that apply to each individual organization or tenant or connection to your application. When a user goes through the OAuth flow, they select an organization to grant access to. Your integration is then making a call to the connection's endpoint to retrieve a list of tenant IDs associated with the access token Xero returned. That list will contain one or multiple tenant IDs based on whether the user has previously granted access to other Xero organizations and will include the tenant ID associated with the organization they just granted access to. Your integration will use the tenant ID when accessing Xero's API, and this is how the API knows which organization data you're interacting with. So, organization, connection, and tenant are synonymous. The limits that apply to each individual organization are 5 concurrent calls at any given moment, 60 calls per minute, and 5,000 calls in a 24-hour rolling window. In addition to the limits that apply to each organization, your app is limited to 10,000 calls per 24-hour window summed across all organizations. Each API response you receive will include headers detailing the remaining balance against each of those limits. In order to make the most of our rate limits, we recommend you batch your requests rather than making individual requests. There is no limitation to the number of records that can be put or post in a single request other than the maximum request size limit. So for example, try putting or posting 50 or so records in a single request instead of one. So what happens if you've batched your requests and still exceed our rate limit? Exceeding the rate limit will result in an HTTP 429 response, with headers including which rate limit you've exceeded and how many seconds you must wait before making another request. Your code should be written to handle such a response and to delay further requests until the specified time has passed. For more details on today's topics, check out the links in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Community Corner.